PACTV is pleased to host this Q&A with the candidates running for the Plymouth and Barnstable County Senate seat. And right now we have on set with us Stephen Michael Palmer, who is a Democrat from Plymouth. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. A couple questions to get out of the way before we ask the big major questions. What is your current occupation?
My current occupation is I'm a night auditor at Moakley in Pine Hills in Plymouth. And I've worked 7 days a week since my wife has died to pay the bills. 2 kids are in college. One graduated from college, the other one graduated from high school. So I work 7 days a week, and I run the Sheridan and Needham hotel as a night auditor also. I do accounting. I took accounting at BC.
Okay. Do you have are you currently or have you in the past served on any boards or committees, either elected or appointed?
I've been both. I was a town meeting member in Braintree, Massachusetts when I was 17 and a half. I was elected at 17 and a half, and I served when I was 18. So I've been young in it. I moved to Plymouth after I got married, etc. We moved out of South Boston, so now I was a school teacher over there for 10 years at St. Augustine's. And I coached the baseball, football, and the basketball for the CYO, etc. So we moved to Plymouth, and I was elected town meeting member.
Mm-hmm.
My wife died 7 years ago, so I went back into politics because I was a politician before I met my wife. Mm-hmm. And my wife said, you either be a politician or marry me, and I married my wife. So this is where I'm at. I'm also a commissioner of redevelopment authority in the town of Plymouth. And I also a trustee as a appointed position by the Redevelopment Authority as a member of the Charitable Housing Trust in the town of Plymouth also.
Okay. And where can constituents go to find out more about you and your campaign?
They can go on my website, www.stephenmichaelpalmer.com.
Okay. All right, so we're going to get right into the questions. And the first question I'm going to ask you is this. Given that you will be coming into office midterm, how do you plan to tackle the process of getting up to speed on the myriad of topics and work product already being done in the 6 towns that you will represent?
So there's Pembroke, Kingston, Plymouth, Bourne, Sandwich, and Falmouth. I have gone to those town meetings they had previously a couple of months ago. I've gone to the meetings and campaigned out the front door and gone to the meetings and took the books and seeing what the budget is and see what could be helped, and if they need more money, and hopefully they won't lay any teachers out in Sandwich, etc. And they need a new community building for Pembroke, etc. Town of Plymouth's a mess. The fact is that my taxes keep going up every year. The town manager makes almost as much as the mayor of New York City. It's in chaos. It's in crisis. The fire department is leaking. They need a new roof. I guess it was approved in 1990, and it never got done. They're kicking the can down the road, and it's taxes keep going up. Hundreds of dollars a quarter. So I don't feel that. I think there should be more government watching over these towns that, make a $78 million sewer problem. And, it goes back to the taxpayers. Kind of disappointed in it. That's why I'm going back into government. I don't believe in, tax and spend. I'm not a liberal. I feel that, every dollar, every tax dollar should be going to the constituents or road repair or bridge work. Or, I have boycotted road construction in the town of Plymouth to get it done. It wasn't the best thing to do, but it definitely got done after I protested. And I'm kind of feisty, I'm a maverick in a way, and I feel that this is what you need up at the State House. And
how are you going to get up to speed on what legislation was being worked on?
Oh, I read all the local newspapers, the Globe, the Herald, the Record American. I go online and make sure that I'm abreast with the WBUR, etc. And I go on the website for the State House News. 5 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, so question number 2. What do you think are the priorities within the district regarding climate change? And how do they dovetail into the state's priorities and initiatives regarding the same topic?
First of all, we're not going to solve the climate change now. It's been going on for forever. And now people realize that, we have to make some changes. And the fact is that it has to come with money, a lot of money for structural problems. Beach erosion is probably number one. And it's really going to be a challenge to the climate control. It's kind of like my son today. He's graduated from high school, Plymouth South. Daddy, where's the snow? Daddy, why doesn't it get cold anymore? I don't have that answer. I don't think anyone has that answer. And, Plymouth is running out of water now. So, these things have to be dovetailed, and they have to be taken care of, and the draw has to be made. It's just the fact is that the problem is not going to be solved overnight. And, it's going to take studies as well as constituents that, will say no at legislation that isn't going to be right to spend money. It's kind of like the town of Falmouth, built a $5 million windmill and for the power. And it was under Deval Patrick, and they thought it was a grant. And they had to take it down. It took them $5 million to take it down. And now they have to pay for the $5 million that they put up. I mean, these mistakes can't be made in small little towns like this. I mean, they're Norman Rockwell towns. They're beautiful. Falmouth is the Irish Riviera. And I was in Sandwich today, and the fact is it's a beautiful town. But you have to, constituents have to vote for people that are going to make the right decisions, and be concentrating on their tax dollars, not the tax dollars that are wasted.
Okay. Do you feel that the state is doing enough to study and make recommendations to counteract our
I'm
climate
sure they're
change?
studying it, but the recommendations are, all over the place. We got to pinpoint it and, get to one issue. And, climate change is a big issue. But, I don't have the answer right now. I'd have to study it more.
Okay.
I'm more into other issues.
Okay, fair enough. Question number 3. Currently, there are many challenges regarding housing. Seniors wanting to downsize and limited affordable options, workforce housing for those who work in our area but can't afford to live here, and housing in general for either renters or buyers. Given these challenges, what is your plan to tackle them?
Interesting that you come up with that question, because I'm with the Redevelopment Authority in Plymouth, and we make sure that, any houses developments that are built, 3,000 building permits were pulled in this year, and out of those 3,000, we have hundreds of affordable housing, but affordable housing in Plymouth is $300,000, $350,000. And I made a motion with the charitable trust last meeting to help. The money, I don't know if you know how it works, but if a developer makes 7 houses, he has to have 1 for affordable. It's kind of like Pine Hills. Fact is, when they build, they don't have affordable housing, but they give us hundreds of thousands of dollars. So we take those hundreds of thousands of dollars and make sure that it goes to affordable housing. So there was one gentleman that was a veteran, and he applied for the lottery, and the fact was that he needed some money for $15,000 for a down payment. So I made a motion on the board that we give him the $15,000 as a grant. If he sells the house, he has to pay it back. But these are the things that can help people. But we have to go back to, like, my mother grew up in the projects in South Boston. And it was a good life. My uncle came back from Normandy alive, and she lived there. And I really like to see projects come back to these cities and towns. And the fact is that it can be productive. You can build small townhouses. They have them in, Roxbury. Diane Wilkinson built some nice ones near Franklin Park, and I'd like to see that concept come alive without the 55 plus in Plymouth, 55 plus in Plymouth, 55 plus seniors in Plymouth. How about the families? Where are the families going to go? The school population in Plymouth is going down, but yet the price to run the school budget is over $100 million. It just doesn't make sense. We're going backwards instead of forwards. The government was made to help people, not to take their money and spend it, foolishly. Tax and spend, tax and. I'm not for tax and spend. I'm more of a moderate. I'm not a liberal.
Okay. Our fourth question is, what do you see in the realm of health and human services as the most vital current concerns that you will be addressing?
Well, the fact is that, you know, after my wife died, I realized how much money I'm paying in healthcare. My wife gave me $80 a week for gas money, and she took care of the bills in the house. And when she died, God rest her soul, I had to take over and realize that healthcare is a big cost. I've paid thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for healthcare in my family. And I don't even get sick. Mm-hmm. My children go, and there's a co-payment. And a co-payment, and then there's a deductible. I mean, that doesn't make sense. There's got to be other rules backwards. It's kind of like if I get elected for state senate. When I get elected for state senate, I'm supposed to be making $60,000. I'm giving 6% back to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. I want to call it reverse taxation. We have to have different ideas, and we have to go different directions, instead of just raising taxes and spending tax money. Mm-hmm. The budget this year is in the insurance companies, $252 billion in cost overrides that it doesn't go to the patients, it goes to everybody's salary. It just doesn't make sense to me. And I like to go in there and kind of figure it out and say, we're not helping people, we're just taking their money.
So you're saying that your number one concern is affordable health care?
Affordable health care for all.
Okay.
It's just the fact is, should everybody be on Mass Health? It's just the fact is that it doesn't help you. I was laid off and I was making $500 a week. Now I go for unemployment and they only give me $250. But yet the state legislators are making $18 million raises every year. It doesn't make sense. The government was made for the people, mm-hmm. not for the legislators to dictate. And I'm paying their health insurance, and I'm paying their dental, and I'm paying the firemen's dental, and I'm paying the firemen's, and the town employees. Mm-hmm. I mean, come on, guys, kick in a little, will you? I mean, why take it out of my pocket?
Okay. And our final question, and then you're going to get to use your remaining time to answer this. For the last remaining minutes, please take time to cover something we have not discussed or an area that you wish to expand upon that we've already covered. So you have about 5 minutes.
So the fact is, the government was started. This Massachusetts government was started with John Hancock, Adam, and Revere. Okay, and they taxation without representation. Now they've made and that was a democracy. They made a mockery and a demockery out of my democracy. They're taking money and they're spending it foolishly. The budget's going to go up another $1 billion. It goes down to the towns. The towns tax a couple of $100 more a year. Mm-hmm. And now the towns go up, and they're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars. And then you go to the state, and they're spending billions. And now the government's selling trillions. Mm-hmm. The trillions of dollars that, it went up $1 trillion under the Trump administration already. That's money we're not going to get back. Mm-hmm. The Democrats are in trouble. The fact is that, Clinton balanced the budget. We're just spending up at the D.C. level. You know what I mean? Billions and trillions of dollars. And it just doesn't make sense. And they're giving tax incentives to the big corporations. GE doesn't pay federal taxes. Amazon doesn't pay federal taxes. These are $800 billion companies. But yet they're taking money out of me. They're taking money out of you. And what are they doing? Spending it foolishly. Let's stop the foolishness, It's kind of like the State House will build 2 casinos. They're approved of the Everett and the Springfield. Mm-hmm. We didn't need 2, Just build 1. It's kind of like in Plymouth. They approve all these buildings and there's businesses abandoned every way you look. Supermarkets are going out of business because they've overbuilt. Now the fact is they can't build. I'm with 40B. That's another point. 40B should be right there where the train station is. We haven't utilized that at all. People want to go to work, as you said. workforce housing. That's a big concern. Yet, oh yeah, Charlie Baker and Marty Walsh got the answer by, what is it, 2030? Okay, that's great to say. But, they only gave $60 million this year to build 2 housing projects, one in Jamaica Plain and the other one's in Rosendale. So it's kind of like $44 billion, and you guys are only going to kick in $60 million? It doesn't make sense. We're getting crumbs from the king's table. That's all we're getting here. They're sweeping it under the rug. No one's going to bother. Well, I'm going to bother them. I'm going to get up and address them and say, guess what? Start doing the people's work. It's like going to the registry. Now they've got some thing that, when you get to the registry and, you have to have your license, you have to have your birth certificate, you have to have the 2 forms of bills at your house for your passport.
That's the new kind of ID you have to have.
I mean, who's making these laws anyways? The state's making these laws. Let's get off the back of the people. Let's make things easier. Going back to the pay raises. Now the state police want $16 million more this year. Let's stop writing checks. Let's start helping people, find houses, get housing, as well as, when they're unemployed, make sure they get their check. Mm-hmm. And another thing is age discrimination. How many people do I talk to? And they say that, oh, Steve, I got 2 masters. I can't find a job because they hired some other kid, that just got out of high school or got out of college, There's a lot of problems up there, and again, as you said, which one are you going to tackle? Housing is definitely the first one, but you have to get the 40Bs in, You can't have $350,000 homes and expect people to pay that in the mortgage. It's impossible. Who are we helping, That's about it.
That's it.
But
okay.
Again, my name is Stephen Michael Palmer. I ran for this election a couple of months ago. Vinny left early. I got 5,000 votes. I need those 5,000 votes back. I need everyone that made that choice. You made the right choice. I need your vote to get in the running here for the general election. Again, Hancock Adam Revere started this for taxation without representation. That's what the revolution was about. You can remember the name as the golfer. Or I heard he's got iced tea out now. Stephen Michael Palmer, running for state senate. I need your vote. I need it on the 3rd of March. I hope you get out there and vote for the right candidate for the Democratic Party, as well as a guy like me that will have your back and do the people's work.
Okay. Thank you so much. We were pleased to host this. The candidate for Plymouth and Barnstable County seat, Stephen Michael Palmer, a Democrat from Plymouth. Thank you.